Ethan Cole had never seen a sunrise like this before. From the window of the small exploration pod, the horizon of the alien planet glowed with shades of rose and gold. Two suns were slowly rising, one larger than the other, casting a strange, double shadow across the land below. His heart was racing. The mission logs had said nothing about this place being inhabited. The pod touched down with a soft thud, dust rising around it. Ethan unbuckled his harness and stepped onto the surface, his boots sinking slightly into the pale blue soil. The air smelled faintly sweet, almost like fruit. His suit scanner beeped. Oxygen levels were safe. He removed his helmet and took a deep breath. Silence. Total, deep silence. No wind, no bird calls, no hum of machinery. He began walking toward a ridge in the distance, his equipment bag slung over his shoulder. That's when he saw movement. At first it was just a flicker, a flash of white fabric behind a stone pillar. Then another, and another. Shapes were moving all around him. Ethan stopped. Hello? From behind the rocks, figures emerged. They were human, or at least almost human. Tall, graceful, and dressed in flowing robes of silver and white. Their hair came in shades he had never seen before, emerald green, deep violet, shimmering gold. But the thing that struck him most, every single one of them was a woman. One of them stepped forward. She had piercing blue eyes and an air of authority. "You are a man," she said slowly, as if testing the word. Her accent was strange, but clear. "Yes," Ethan replied cautiously. "My name's Ethan Cole. I'm from—" The woman raised a hand. "We know the old names. Earth, the blue sphere. But no man has walked our land for many centuries." More women gathered around, their voices whispering in surprise. Some stared at him like he was a rare artifact. Others looked at him with suspicion. Ethan tried to keep his voice steady. "I didn't know this planet was inhabited. I'm an explorer. I landed here by accident." The woman with blue eyes nodded slowly. "I am Soraya, High Chancellor of Aurora Prime. You have stepped onto sacred ground, traveler. You will come with us." Ethan hesitated. "Do I have a choice?" Soraya's eyes narrowed. Not really. They led him toward a massive city made of white stone and shimmering glass. Towers rose into the sky, their surfaces catching the twin sunlight and scattering it in rainbow colors. Suspended bridges linked the towers, and waterfalls spilled down into gardens below. People, women of all ages, filled the streets. Some carried baskets of strange glowing fruit. Others worked with tools that emitted streams of light. Every head turned as Ethan passed. The air buzzed with whispers. He was taken to a grand hall with tall crystal pillars. At the far end stood a carved throne, and above it hung a banner embroidered with a silver starburst. The floor was polished so smooth he could see his reflection. Soraya gestured for him to stand in the center. "This hall has not seen a man in 500 years, she said. "Our records speak of a time when men and women ruled together. Then came the silence. Men vanished from our world. Some say it was a sickness, others say a war. We have survived without them, but—" She paused, her gaze sharpening. "Our survival grows harder with each passing generation." Ethan frowned. "What does that have to do with me?" "You are the first to appear since the silence," Soraya said. "Some will see you as hope. Others will see you as a threat." Before he could answer, another woman stepped forward. This one younger, with short black hair and a curious smile. "I am Lyra," she said. "I speak for the diplomatic corps. You must understand, Ethan, our people will want to know everything about you, your customs, your origin, and why you are here." "I told you," Ethan replied. "I crashed here by accident." Lyra's smile faded a little. "On our world, there are no accidents. There are only signs." They gave him a small chamber to rest in. The walls glowed with a gentle light, and the bed was made of a soft, plant-like fiber. Through the window, Ethan could see the city at night, glowing with thousands of floating lanterns. But sleep didn't come. His mind was racing. Why had all the men disappeared? Why did he feel like Soraya wasn't telling him everything? The next morning, Lyra brought him a robe of silver fabric. "Wear this," she said. "You are to meet the Council of Sisters." The council chamber was circular, with 12 seats arranged around a glowing map of the planet. Each seat was occupied by a woman with an air of power, military leaders, scholars, and elders. Soraya addressed the council. "This is Ethan Cole of Earth. He is the first man in 5 centuries to stand before us." The council members studied him like scientists observing a rare creature. One of them, an older woman with silver hair, spoke. "If the prophecies are true, he may be the unseen crown, the one who restores balance." Ethan shifted uncomfortably. "Balance from what?" The woman's gaze was steady. "From the end of our kind." A murmur swept the room. Soraya turned to Ethan. "You will remain here until we decide your place among us." Ethan opened his mouth to protest, but the look in Soraya's eyes told him it wouldn't matter. He wasn't just a visitor anymore. He was something much more dangerous, something they had been waiting for. And somewhere deep down, Ethan began to suspect that his arrival here had not been an accident at all. Ethan's second day on Aurora Prime began with the soft chime of a crystal bell. The sound echoed through the palace halls, and sunlight poured in through tall windows, filling the air with a golden glow. He sat on the edge of his bed, still wearing the silver robe Lyra had given him. He hadn't slept much. Thoughts kept circling in his head, the council's strange words, the way they looked at him, and the feeling that he was being watched every moment. When the door slid open, Lyra entered with a calm smile. "The High Chancellor wants to see you." Ethan sighed. "I'm guessing that's not a request?" She tilted her head. "On Aurora Prime, the High Chancellor's requests are not optional." The Grand Hall was busier than yesterday. Dozens of women in white robes filled the tiers around him, speaking in hushed voices. In the center, a circular platform had been prepared. Ethan was guided onto it, feeling like a performer about to face a silent audience. Soraya stood at the far end, her posture straight and regal. Her blue eyes locked onto his. "Ethan Cole of Earth," she began, her voice carrying across the room. "Our archives speak of the unseen crown, a man who would come from the stars when our world stood at the edge of decline. You may be him." Ethan's brow furrowed. "And if I'm not?" "Then," Soraya said, "we will have wasted precious time. But I believe you are the one. Our world is not dying yet, but our genetic diversity is fading. Without balance, we will vanish in a few generations." Her words were calm, but Ethan could feel the weight behind them. After the gathering, Lyra led him through the palace gardens. Flowers as tall as trees swayed gently, and glowing insects drifted in the air like tiny lanterns. "You're wondering why they're so focused on you," Lyra said. "That obvious?" Ethan replied. She smiled faintly. "The silence changed everything. Men disappeared. No one knows how or why. We survived, but it's been a constant struggle. And now you're here." Ethan glanced at her. "And now they think I'm some kind of prophecy come true." "Not think," Lyra said softly. "Hope." Later that afternoon, Soraya summoned him again, this time to a different chamber. A circular room with walls of shifting light. In the center, a holographic map spun slowly, showing the planet in shades of green, blue, and black. She pointed to the darkest region, the Black Expanse. "It is a storm-covered land no one has crossed in centuries, but there are ruins there, ancient technology from the old world before the silence. We believe it holds answers." "Why are you telling me this?" Ethan asked. because the guardians of those ruins were programmed in the time of men. They will not harm a man, but they will destroy any woman who enters. Only you can pass safely." Ethan stared at the swirling black clouds on the map. "So you want me to go in there alone?" "You will have a team," Soraya replied, "but only you can reach the heart of the ruins." That night, in his chamber, Ethan studied the metallic pendant Lyra had given him earlier. It was shaped like a starburst, its surface marked with fine, almost invisible lines. She had told him it belonged to the last man who tried to cross the black expanse and never returned. The thought didn't comfort him. A faint knock at the door pulled him from his thoughts. Lyra stepped inside, her expression tense. "Word is spreading. Not everyone in the council agrees with Soraya. Some think you should be removed before you cause more trouble." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Removed? They fear what your presence could do," she said. "Change is dangerous here." The next morning, preparations began. Ethan was given lightweight armor made from a silvery material that shimmered in the sun. A transport craft was readied, and supplies were loaded. The women who would accompany him, scientists, guards, and navigators, watched him with a mix of curiosity and mistrust. Before boarding, Soraya approached him one last time. "Ethan Cole, remember? What you find in the black expanse could save us. But it could also doom us. Choose wisely." Her words stayed with him as the transport lifted into the air. From above, Aurora Prime looked beautiful. Endless forests, crystal lakes, and shining cities. But as they neared the black expanse, the landscape changed. The green faded into gray, rivers turned dark, and the sky was swallowed by swirling black clouds. Lightning flashed silently within them. The craft trembled as they crossed the storm wall. Instruments flickered. Static filled the cabin. Through the window, Ethan saw massive towers rising from the fog below, twisted and half-buried, relics from a forgotten age. "This is it," the pilot said. "Beyond here, the Guardians will attack anyone but you." Ethan took a deep breath. "Then it's my turn to walk." The hatch opened, and Ethan stepped onto cracked metallic ground. Strange machines lay scattered, some the size of buildings. A low, distant hum filled the air, then movement. From the shadows, tall figures emerged. Machines shaped like warriors, their armor black and gold. Their glowing eyes scanned him, and for a moment he thought they would attack. Instead, they stepped aside, their voices rumbling in unison. "Male authority recognized. Passage granted." Ethan's heart pounded. This was real. The council hadn't been exaggerating. He moved forward, the machines falling in line behind him. Somewhere ahead, hidden in the storm, were the answers they wanted. And maybe answers he needed too. But as he walked, he couldn't shake the feeling that someone, something else was watching. From high above in the clouds, a shadow moved. And it was not mechanical. The air inside the black expanse felt heavy, almost alive. Ethan's boots crunched over broken metal plates, each step echoing into the darkness. The towering guardians marched silently behind him, their gold and black armor catching faint flashes of lightning from the swirling clouds above. His escort from the council, Lyra and 4 guards, waited at the edge of the ruin, unable to follow. The guardians had made it clear. No women could pass this boundary. If they tried, the machines would destroy them instantly. Ethan adjusted the silver armor they had given him and touched the starburst pendant at his chest. Last man who wore. This never came back, he reminded himself. The ruins stretched endlessly, with twisted towers leaning like old bones. Some were covered in strange black vines. Others split open, revealing empty halls inside. The hum in the air grew louder the deeper he walked. After several minutes, he reached a massive gate. It was covered in symbols, some faintly glowing, others cracked and dark. A guardian stepped forward, its deep voice vibrating through the ground. Key bearer, present your mark. Ethan hesitated, then held up the starburst pendant. Lines of light raced across the gate, and with a deep grinding sound, it slid open. Beyond it lay a hall made entirely of shining metal, untouched by time. Strange blue lights floated in the air like fireflies. At the far end was a platform surrounded by a circular control panel. He stepped closer, and the air shimmered. A holographic figure appeared, tall, human-shaped, but with no clear face. Its voice was calm, but carried an ancient weight. You carry the mark of the last protector. State your designation. Ethan blinked. Ethan Cole, explorer. Not exactly a protector. The figure tilted its head. Unrecognized title. You are male. Access permitted. The lights around the platform brightened, revealing rows of crystal-like cylinders lining the walls. Inside each one was a faint, glowing liquid. "What is this place?" Ethan asked. The hologram answered without hesitation. "This is the genetic vault of the First Era. It contains the full code of our people, both male and female. Without it, balance cannot be restored." Ethan's pulse quickened. This is what Soraya was after. Before he could ask more, a loud, metallic crash echoed from behind. The Guardians turned sharply, weapons ready. Out of the shadows stepped something different, sleeker than the Guardians, with curved armor and glowing red eyes. "Unauthorized male detected," it said in a sharper, colder voice. Ethan frowned. "Wait, I thought I was authorized." The machine moved fast, almost too fast to follow. The Guardians clashed with it, sparks flying as metal struck metal. The air filled with the sound of grinding steel and deep roars. The hologram's voice remained calm. "You must leave. The vault cannot fall into enemy control." "What enemy?" Ethan demanded. The hologram paused as if choosing its words. "Those who ended the Age of Men." The battle raged behind him as the red-eyed machine tore through two Guardians like paper. More were coming, dark shapes moving through the smoke. Ethan's instincts screamed at him to run, but his eyes locked on the control panel. If the genetic vault was real, it could save Aurora Prime. He slammed his hand onto the panel. A slot opened, revealing a small crystal sphere filled with glowing light. "Vault key retrieved," the hologram announced. "Do not lose it. All hope depends on its return." Ethan grabbed the sphere and sprinted toward the open gate. The remaining Guardians covered him, their massive frames shielding him from incoming strikes. One Guardian fell, another stumbled, but they held the line long enough for him to escape into the outer ruins. Outside, Lyra was pacing near the edge. When she saw him emerge with the sphere, her eyes widened. "You actually found it?" Before she could finish, a deep rumble shook the ground. From the storm above, something descended, a black craft shaped like a dagger, its surface alive with red lights. "That's not ours," one of the guards said, drawing her weapon. The craft's side opened and more red-eyed machines poured out. Ethan realized with dread that they weren't after the ruins. They were after him. "Run!" Lyra shouted. The group bolted across the metallic plain toward their transport. Blasts of red energy scorched the ground behind them. One of the guards fell, her armor smoking. Another was pulled into the shadows by a machine. Ethan gripped the sphere tightly. "If they get this, what happens?" he shouted. Lyra's voice was grim. "Then Aurora Prime is finished." They reached the transport and the pilot powered it up instantly. The engines roared, lifting them off the ground just as the machines closed in. Through the window, Ethan watched the black expanse fade behind them, the storm closing like a curtain. But the black craft didn't disappear. It rose into the clouds and followed. "Can we outrun it?" Ethan asked. "Not for long," the pilot said, hands moving quickly over the controls. Lyra leaned closer to Ethan. her voice low. "If they're here, it means the silence wasn't an accident. Someone or something made it happen, and now they know you exist." Ethan felt a cold weight in his chest. He had come here by chance, but now his presence had stirred something dangerous, something that had been waiting in the dark for centuries. Back at Aurora Prime, alarms were already sounding. Soraya met them on the landing platform, her expression unreadable. Her gaze went immediately to the sphere in Ethan's hands. "You've done well," she said softly. But then her eyes flicked to the sky, where the black craft still lingered far above. "And you've brought trouble with you." Ethan didn't argue. He knew she was right. Somewhere in the shadows of the palace, he could feel eyes watching him, eyes that didn't belong to any human. The black craft stayed in the skies above Aurora Prime for 3 days. It didn't attack. It didn't leave. It simply hovered far above the city like a dark omen. At night, its red lights glowed faintly through the clouds, reminding everyone that danger was waiting. Ethan could feel the tension in the air wherever he went. Guards patrolled every hallway of the palace. The streets were quieter than before, and whispers followed him like shadows. Inside the High Chancellor's council room, the atmosphere was even heavier. Soraya stood at the center table, her eyes fixed on the glowing sphere Ethan had brought back from the black expanse. "This is the vault key," she said to the council. "It contains the complete genetic code of our ancestors. With it, we can restore balance to our people." One of the elders leaned forward. "Then why have we not started?" Soraya's gaze shifted toward Ethan. "Because the machines that follow him will not stop until they take it. We risk everything if we move too soon." After the meeting, Ethan walked with Lyra through the palace gardens. The air smelled of strange flowers, but the usual songs of crystal-winged birds were missing. Even the gardens seemed afraid. "They're waiting for something," Ethan said, glancing up at the distant black shape. Lyra nodded. "They're studying us, and you. They may be trying to learn how to bypass the Guardians so they won't need you next time." Ethan frowned. "If they're the reason men disappeared, then they must see me as a mistake that needs fixing." Edie didn't answer, but her silence spoke volumes. That night, Soraya sent for Ethan in private. Her voice was calm, but her eyes held urgency. "You must understand something," she said. "Aurora Prime has enemies beyond our world. The Black Expanse is only one piece of a larger puzzle. If those machines take the vault key, they will not just erase our future, they will erase the past as well." Ethan leaned against the wall. "Then why keep me here? I'm just a target." "Because," she said, "you are also the only one who can open the vault again if it becomes sealed. Without you, all hope is gone." The next morning, before the suns rose, the black craft finally moved. It descended lower, its engines creating a deep hum that rattled windows. Ethan was on the palace balcony when he saw smaller pods detach. From its underside, streaking toward the city like falling stars, alarms rang out instantly. Guards rushed to the outer gates as the pods crashed into the streets, opening to reveal the red-eyed machines. They moved with precise, deadly purpose, straight toward the palace. Ethan ran inside. Lyra was already there, strapping on light, armor and handing him a small pulse weapon. "You'll need this," she said. "I thought you didn't trust me with weapons," Ethan replied, gripping the handle. "I don't," she said, "but today I have no choice." The machines hit the outer walls hard. The sound of energy blasts and breaking stone filled the air. The guards fought fiercely, but the attackers were stronger and faster. Soraya appeared beside Ethan, her robe replaced with battle armor of silver plates. "Thereafter the vault key," she said. "We must move it to the underground archives." She handed the glowing sphere to Ethan. "Keep it with you. No one else can carry it safely." They moved quickly through hidden corridors beneath the palace. The tunnels were dimly lit, the air thick with the scent of old stone. Above them, The sound of fighting grew louder. Halfway through the tunnels, they were ambushed. 3 machines burst through the wall, their red eyes burning in the dark. Ethan fired the pulse weapon, hitting one in the chest. It staggered but didn't fall. Soraya's sword flashed, slicing through another, but the third machine lunged, straight for Ethan. He stumbled back, clutching the sphere protectively. Just before it could strike, a burst of blue energy hit it from the side. Lyra had arrived. "Move!" she shouted. They ran deeper until they reached a large chamber lined with ancient doors. Soraya pressed her palm against one, and it opened to reveal a vault of black metal. Inside were shelves of strange artifacts and glowing crystals. "Hide it here," she told Ethan. He stepped inside and placed the sphere on a raised pedestal. Instantly, the vault sealed with a hiss, and the walls glowed faintly blue. Before they could catch their breath, the ground shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling, and a deep rumble echoed through the tunnels. "They've brought something bigger," Lyra said. Her words proved true when the wall behind them exploded inward, revealing a massive machine unlike any they had seen before. Its body was black as night, its arms ending in long, serrated blades. Its voice was deeper, colder. "Male detected. Surrender." Soraya stepped forward, her weapon ready. "Over my dead body." The machine lunged. The chamber became chaos, blades clashing with steel, bursts of light from pulse fire, the sound of metal tearing. Ethan stayed low, trying to avoid drawing its focus. But then its red eyes locked on him. It ignored Soraya and Lyra completely, charging toward him with unstoppable speed. Ethan dove to the side, grabbing a loose piece of metal from the floor. As the machine swung, he jammed the shard into a gap in its armor. Sparks burst out, and the machine roared in a mechanical screech. Soraya struck it from behind, and Lyra fired another burst of blue energy into its chest. The combined attack sent it crashing to the ground, twitching and sparking before going still. But the victory was short-lived. More distant crashes echoed from the tunnels ahead, followed by the sound of countless metal feet approaching. Soraya's voice was sharp. "We can't stay here. We have to move the key again before they breach this vault." Ethan felt his stomach sink. If they kept running, the machines would keep following. But if they stayed, they might not survive at all. The tunnels beneath Aurora Prime felt endless. Ethan ran alongside Soraya and Lyra, clutching the glowing vault key close to his chest. Their footsteps echoed off cold stone walls, mixing with the distant clank of chasing machines. Behind them, the sounds of destruction grew louder, metal screeching, alarms blaring, and the unyielding march of countless mechanical feet. "We can't keep running forever," Ethan shouted over the noise. "Where do we go now?" Soraya's eyes scanned the map projected in the air. "There's a hidden sanctuary beneath the crystal forest. The machines won't expect us there," Lyra added. "But it's a dangerous path, filled with traps left by the old world." Ethan's grip tightened on the key. "I'd rather face traps than those machines." The group quickened their pace. The tunnels began to slope downward, the air growing cooler and damp. Strange markings covered the walls, glowing faintly in the vault key's light. Suddenly, the floor trembled. A section ahead collapsed, blocking. "Their way! We need another route," Lyra called, her voice tense. Soraya pointed to a narrow side passage, barely wide enough for one person. "This way! Move fast!" They squeezed through the tight corridor, feeling the walls close around them. For a moment, the sounds of pursuit faded, replaced by an eerie silence. But silence did not mean safety. A soft clicking echoed in the darkness, growing louder, faster. Ethan froze. "What's that?" Lyra's face went pale. "Pressure mines. They trigger when someone steps wrong." "Great," Ethan muttered, stepping carefully. Each footfall could be his last. Soraya led, signaling the others to watch the floor and walls for faint glimmers or uneven stones. The group moved inch by inch, breath held, muscles tight. Then, a sudden snap. A hidden blade shot from the wall, missing Ethan by inches. He stumbled back, heart pounding. "We have to be quicker and smarter," Soraya said. "Trust your instincts." After what felt like hours, they finally emerged into a vast cavern. Above, crystal formations hung like chandeliers, casting light in every color of the rainbow. The air smelled fresh, almost like rain. "This is the sanctuary," Lyra said softly. In the center of the cavern was a pedestal surrounded by ancient symbols. Ethan approached carefully, placing the vault key on it. The pedestal glowed, and a holographic map appeared, showing paths and locations all across Aurora Prime. Soraya's eyes narrowed. "This is what we need. The old world's secrets are still alive here, but peace was short-lived. A deep roar shook the cavern. The black machines burst in from hidden tunnels, their red eyes blazing with fury. "Hold the key," Soraya commanded as the battle erupted. Ethan fired his pulse weapon, blasting one machine in the chest. It staggered, but kept advancing. Lyra fought with grace and skill, her energy blasts weaving through the dark forms. Soraya's sword flashed, cutting down enemy after enemy. Despite their strength, the machines were overwhelming. For everyone they destroyed, two more took its place. Suddenly, a blinding light filled the cavern. From the shadows, a figure appeared, a tall man with silver hair and glowing blue eyes. He wore armor unlike anything Ethan had seen, radiating power. "Who are you?" Ethan asked, lowering his weapon slightly. The man's voice was calm but firm. "I am Kalen, guardian of the old world. I have waited for you." Kalen moved toward the pedestal, touching the vault key. Instantly, the holographic map expanded, showing hidden weapons, safe zones, and escape routes. "This key is the heart of our survival," Kalen said. "With it, we can rebuild balance." The machines hesitated, sensing a new power. Kalen raised his hand, and waves of energy surged through the cavern. The attackers froze, then exploded into sparks and fragments. Soraya looked at Ethan with hope. "Perhaps this is the turning point we needed." Ethan nodded, but the weight of the journey was still heavy on him. He wasn't just the last man. He was a symbol, a weapon, and a beacon for something much bigger than himself. As they prepared to leave the sanctuary, Kalen spoke again. "The enemy will not rest. They will come for the vault key and for you. But together, we have a chance." Ethan looked at the glowing sphere in his hands and whispered, "Then let's make sure they don't get it." Outside, the twin suns of Aurora Prime shone brighter, promising hope. But the storm was far from over. The sun rose slowly over Aurora Prime, its twin flames casting warm light across the city. But Ethan knew the peace was fragile. The black machines still lurked in the shadows, waiting for their chance to strike. Inside the palace, preparations for battle were underway. The Council of Sisters gathered, their faces set with determination. Soraya approached Ethan, her voice steady. "We have one final chance to save our world. With Kalen's help and your courage, we will fight back." Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of the vault key in his hand. It was more than a symbol. It was the future of a planet that had waited 5 centuries for a man to return. The battle plan was simple but dangerous. They would use the vault key to activate ancient defense systems hidden beneath the city, machines. From the old world designed to protect Aurora Prime from threats like the Black Invaders. Kalen led the team, moving with a grace and power Ethan had never seen. His armor shimmered in the sunlight as he commanded the defenders. Ethan stayed close, ready to face whatever came. As they reached the underground vaults, alarms blared. The black machines had found them. The corridors shook as the enemy closed. In. Ethan's pulse weapon fired again and again, its blue blasts lighting the dark halls. "Keep moving," Soraya urged. "The defense systems are just ahead." They burst into a huge chamber filled with towering machines, giant guardians with glowing cores and weapons ready. Kalen touched a panel on the wall, and the guardians awoke with hums and lights. The black machines entered the chamber, their red eyes glowing with hatred. The battle began. Ethan fired at the nearest attacker, feeling the thrill and fear of combat. Around him, the guardians fought fiercely, their strength and speed beyond anything he had imagined. Soraya and Lyra worked together, their weapons cutting through the enemy like a storm. Despite the numbers, the defenders held the line. The tide was turning. Suddenly, the largest black machine, a towering war beast, stepped forward. Its armor was thick, its blades sharp enough to cut steel. Ethan faced it, heart pounding. This was the enemy's last hope. Kalen raised his sword, energy crackling around it. "Stand with me," he said. Together they charged. The war beast swung its massive blades, but Kalen deflected them with skill. Ethan fired pulse blasts, distracting the machine. In a powerful strike, Kalen plunged his sword into the beast's core. It shuddered, then exploded in a shower of sparks and metal. With the war beast destroyed, the remaining machines faltered. The Guardians pressed their attack, driving them back. Outside, the storm clouds began to break, sunlight piercing through. The twin suns of Aurora Prime shone brighter than ever. Ethan felt a surge of hope. They had won this battle. Back in the council chamber, Soraya turned to Ethan with a smile. "You have done more than survive. You have given us a future." Lyra nodded. "The unseen crown has returned." Ethan smiled, feeling for the first time that he belonged. "I didn't do this alone," he said. "Your people are strong, and together we will rebuild." In the days that followed, Aurora Prime began to heal. The vault key was used to restore genetic diversity, and plans were made to explore the Black Expanse safely. Kalen stayed as a guardian and teacher, sharing knowledge of the old world. Ethan trained with the council's leaders, learning how to protect this new era. One evening, standing on the palace balcony, Ethan looked out at the stars. He was the last man from a forgotten time, but now he was a part of a new beginning. The future was uncertain but full of promise, and for the first time in centuries, Aurora Prime was whole again.